Hello everyone and welcome back to Genuine Chit Chat, the podcast where we're going to help you grow through what you go through. And today I'm here with Rachel herself for episode 5. Rachel has embarked on a new journey of transformation where she's embracing the full sobriety, mental health and fitness. So this episode we'll find out why she decided to start this journey, the challenges she's faced and what she's also learnt from this journey. So let's get into it. So welcome back everyone, welcome to episode 5. So I'm here with Rachel. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, I'm happy you're excited. I think you're the first one that's actually said that.
Oh no, I'm buzzing.
Oh, I love that.
Talk about me.
Be the main character, that's the best thing in life. You literally are me. So I actually used to go to school with Rachel back in the day, but I think this is the first time I've seen you since probably the leaving. Probably the prom in year 11.
Oh, I didn't go to that.
Oh yeah, you moved schools, didn't you? Even better. So actually probably before that, yeah.
Probably since I left in when I was 10.
When you
11?
Yeah.
No, I left at 13. I was 13.
Okay, so 13, yeah. So that has
So
been a
almost
while
10
still.
years.
Yeah. Wow, that is pretty wild. That is pretty wild. Leaning towards the situation of sobriety. So what did you find that as you were growing older, is it a certain age that you used to go out a lot that's kind of led you to where you are now?
Yeah, so I'd always say like from 14, going out and drinking was like huge.
Yeah.
Like I sort of did senior school in Reigate and drinking was such a big thing. I was out pretty much every weekend with friends and then it started with house parties. When we got to 18 it was then the club and all of that. Loads of drinking, and then obviously university has a big drinking culture. I joined a drinking society.
I bet you look back on that now and think, how on earth did I do that?
Yeah, if you saw me like that Rachel, and now you'd be like, oh Christ,
What a different person.
Yeah.
I guess it's like especially when you go to uni, it is a social thing to do. Like it's how you meet a lot of friends, because I don't know why it is. When we're sober, we're so awkward. But you have a few drinks and you literally just make friends with a wooden door.
It's
That literally just looks at that door.
It is liquid courage.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, you do have, I think not drinking, you do have to just be like, oh, just got to throw myself into it and hope for the best.
Yeah,
You've got to make the confidence yourself. So that is difficult. But it was, even now living in London, things like after work drinks. There's then...
Especially the Thursdays.
Thirsty Thursdays, isn't it really?
Yeah.
There'd be that. And I was going out on like a Tuesday. Who do I think I am?
And then you wake up hungover on the Wednesday, have an unproductive day.
And I've still got 3 days to work.
Yeah.
This is...
Especially in summer, that you get easily convinced, don't you, after
Pub
work.
garden. Nothing.
But why do we always just think I need to go out and drink? You can still go out.
You absolutely can.
I guess we'll find out that you probably have been doing that.
I've gone into hibernation. That's the thing. It's you can still go out and do sober things. Do you actually think now in London there is becoming more of a culture of people not drinking and wanting to do...
I think as we're growing older, a lot of people are doing that, which is why I think it's so good that you've come on this episode, because I don't think you hear about many people. I mean, you hear of friends doing it, but you don't see actual content of people around our age. So for those of you who don't know, we're both 24. But yeah, you don't see much coverage of people our age embracing sobriety and actually taking it on to live a better life.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will like cut down, but I haven't seen much of completely just cutting it out completely.
Yeah. No, I agree. So did it just get to a point where you were like, this is just too much? Like, is there a certain point it happened?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, do you know what? There is, over the last, I'd say like year and a half, there have been so many times where I've thought I need to change, something needs to sort. And then there was one final straw. Yeah. And, I hadn't had a drink in like a month. And I had some friends being like, oh, should we go out? And there was this guy that he'd asked me out on a date. And to be honest, as I told you earlier, I'm still single, so it didn't go very well. I'd been on a few dates with him and I'd got so drunk on these dates.
Oh,
like,
then you'd have like anxiety to an extreme the next day.
Such bad anxiety. Yeah. Plus as well, I was like, oh, like, is he... is he going to want to go on another date with me? The guy like dribbling at the table. Like, no, God forbid. So, and my friend said, we'll go out for a drink. And he'd asked me out the same night. And I thought, oh no, I'll just go with my friends.
Yeah.
I'll have 1 or 2 glasses of wine. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I feel like that is never the case. You don't go out and say that.
No, it was like 2 bottles of wine. I mean, God knows how many baby Guinnesses I had, tequila shots, the lot.
It is always the shots that really get you, isn't it?
Honestly, so bad. And I woke up the next morning, couldn't remember how I got home, couldn't remember like how the night ended, what the hell had happened. And I checked my phone and I had a text from the guy who'd asked me on a date.
Oh no, what did he say?
He said... That's actually so embarrassing. He said, didn't expect to be invited to the bar to find you kissing another bloke. And
wait, so you invited him there when you must have... So he originally asked you out on a date and you said
I
no
said
to go out with your friend. So you must have got to that point where you were tipsy, well, probably more drunk, and you invited him out.
Mortal. And I'd gone, yeah, just come along. Yeah, I'd love to see you. Who do I think I am?
And you turned up and you kissing another guy.
Yeah, to start with, am I 16? Get the WKDs out. Why am I kissing a bloke at the pub on a Tuesday night? Like, stop it.
Oh, that is actually hilarious.
To then be like, do you know what will win him over? I'll get with this other bloke.
Make him a little bit jealous. Then he'll really want you.
Honestly, and he then said like, oh, I won't be like seeing you again. And I thought, fair enough.
So if you don't have anxiety already, waking up to a message like that, you must have been like, wow,
and
who is this?
I thought I didn't even remember seeing him there. I don't remember texting him. Like, don't remember any of that. And I just thought, and I was sat there, I felt so anxious and so just like, that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that type of person. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I actually can't feel like this.
It's that fear as well. When you wake up and you get so worried about what you could have done that you haven't been told. As in, like, he told you that he saw that happening. You're thinking, what else have I been doing that I can't remember?
Honestly.
Can't remember how you got home. Like, you're literally putting yourself out there to be...
And it was, putting myself potentially in danger.
Yeah.
Worrying different people. Like, I'd one time, I was coming back from a night out and my brother's my emergency contact. And I was walking across a field and I was so drunk that I set off my emergency alarm in the middle of a field.
No.
And... being drunk, I thought, oh, it'll just send him a WhatsApp. So I checked my WhatsApp. No, I don't know why I thought WhatsApp. Didn't send a message. And then I didn't check my phone again when
that's fine. Nothing's happened there.
Stayed at a friend's house. Just didn't think anything of it. And then my brother contacted my parents in the morning when like, Rachel set off her emergency alarm. Have you heard from her? No, nothing. And my parents went to my flat, which I wasn't at. They went to the field, which I wasn't at. I wasn't answering my phone because I was... passed out over in bed, and in the end they showed up at my friend's house and my friend's sister opened the door and they were like, oh, is Rachel here? And they were like, oh no, like I don't think so, she wasn't meant to stay here. And thankfully I was there.
You were there just like a vegetable.
Yeah, passed out. And I was like, thankfully I was fine, but
the fact they've had to go through those efforts to actually make sure you're safe.
Like my mum's sobbing on the doorstep because
bless her.
God knows like what could happen. I thought, oh, it's so much trouble.
I bet you saw them like, no, not again.
Nothing could be worse than this hangover.
Oh, that is worse.
And
awful.
I'm putting myself in these situations. And I just thought,
you just need to stop.
I can't. And I've actually got a list on my phone of all the things. Well, not all. I stopped at 15 because it was too humbling. Of all the things that I was like, oh, that is so bad.
Really?
When I drink, that just brings me back.
Yeah.
Reminds me why.
Wow. So what are some of those 15s in like some of those stories you've just said?
They're on there, yeah. And there'll be stories like friends will be like, oh, you're never that bad. And I was like, no, we all laugh at the stories, but like ultimately, like it's my life. Like, I acted in that way.
Yeah, because they're seeing the other side of the story by laughing about it, but you were the one actually suffering with it the next day.
And that was the thing. And it was just, my anxiety was going into the week and I'd be anxious till like Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, I'd then go again Friday.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? 'Cause I feel like it really sets you out of routine. So if you're hungover on a Saturday, you go out again Saturday night, or then hungover on a Sunday. Normally on a Sunday, I like to meal prep, sort my planner out, get myself sorted for the week. If you're hanging on Sunday, that literally completely goes out the window. You don't really get out till bed till like 3 o'clock.
Oh god, yeah.
You look disgusting. You feel disgusting.
Eat crap.
Or sometimes I can't even eat. Bless my mum. She'll make me a roast every Sunday.
Ooh.
And the amount of roasts I've never
Gone
been
to
able to
waste.
finish. Yeah, and I feel so bad. And then I'll have them for lunch on Monday though, so it's great. But who has a
Works
roast for
out,
lunch on
works
Monday? But yeah, it does just make you so unprepared. And you just go into your week with that negative energy inside you and that anxious energy.
It does. And you're just like, even then at work, I'd be so unproductive because I'd be just anxious. And
Yeah, you're thinking about other things rather than actually focusing
I haven't
on
slept
work.
well.
Yeah.
And
Sleep is such a big thing. I think that's one of the biggest parts of a hangover is the sleep.
oh yeah,
Because
hugely
I
disturbs
feel like,
it.
yes, the alcohol is obviously a massive part. But nights, sometimes I just have like 4 hours sleep. I literally feel like death the next day. It is so bad.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes if you go out and you drink, but you have like a full 8 hours because you actually get home at a sensible time, you feel nowhere near as bad. But
No, you sleep, and it's proven that alcohol affects sleep, and even if you have one glass, it affects the way you sleep. And
well, even just one glass.
yeah.
Oh, I never realised that.
I'm that person now that reads.
You know everything. You're very factual. You know all the facts about that.
We're all like, did you know?
I mean, it's better to know than not to know, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just educate yourself. If I was someone that could actually drink in moderation, I would keep drinking.
Yeah, but
It's
it's that
just that
moderation. It just doesn't work.
I'm not all 100.
You're an all or nothing.
Yeah.
So what do you think the hardest part of making the decision was? Was there parts where you're like, I don't know if I can do this, or...
I think it was actually making the decision to completely go teetotal, to just cut it out completely. I tried, as I said, to cut back. I tried. It wasn't working. And actually, a few days after I chose to stop drinking, I was going on a girls' holiday for 10 days to Portugal.
No way. If that was me and I tried to make that decision, I'd be like, oh, do you know what? I'll wait till Portugal's finished and then I'll do it.
I just got to the point where I was like,
I just can't.
I physically can't do this to myself anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like the person I am. I am horrible to myself. I don't feel good. I'm just not doing it. I'm done.
And was that that last day where you said you changed? Was that like the worst you've ever felt? And which is what has made you to, or would you say it was more of a build up of multiple times?
It was a build up of multiple times. And like reflecting on it now, I do look back and I even look at past relationships and I think, oh Christ,
What was
things
I
I
doing?
did, the things I did in those relationships with alcohol. I called one of my boyfriends the wrong name.
And that was drunk Rachel coming out.
Drunk Rachel coming out. And I just think, oh, what a cow.
Yeah.
What a cow.
Imagine
Like,
if someone did
if
that to you.
If he did that to me,
you'd be so annoyed.
totally,
You'd be like, who are you talking about? Who's this guy you're bringing
I'd
up?
be fuming.
Yeah.
But I laughed about it because I was drunk and I thought, well, I know
Oh,
it
it's
means
funny.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's not
Yeah,
funny.
it's
It wasn't
not.
very nice. And it was just acting in ways like that. And
Yeah.
I knew at that, just after that last point, I just knew it's time. It's done.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Oh, do you know what? I've got probably a book worth of plots. When they say do it for the plot, I've got the plot. Okay, I've done it.
Plot on
I've
plot,
done it.
you've done it.
Done
and you've
it.
succeeded.
Yeah, I smashed it. I'm not going to lie.
That is so good that
do
you
it.
actually got to that moment where you took a step back and you were like, I just actually can't do this. Like, I need to make a decision. So how was that holiday in Portugal? How did it go, being completely sober?
Do you know what? I'm really lucky that the girls were they just are so supportive. I was expecting a lot more like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, girls'
don't be
holiday.
boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was expecting all that. No one said anything. They were literally like, do you know what? If it makes you happy, it makes you happy.
That's
like,
so good.
absolutely fine. I had my birthday out there as well.
Wow.
And there was one day where I did find it a bit difficult, and it was because we were doing like a joint birthday for me and my friend, and we went to a beach bar. I mean, they started drinking about like 11 a.m. And
Wow, that is an early one.
we then went to the beach bar at 1 p.m. And I was like, I don't really know what to drink because I don't want mocktails because they're just so sugary and sweet.
Also, you're spending so much money on them as well.
Yeah.
And then they're not even that nice.
No. They're not cocktails, let's be honest. They're not cocktails.
Fair enough, you spend about 13 quid on a cocktail, but when it's got no alcohol in it, you're like, is there
So
really
I
any
don't want
point?
this, exactly.
Yeah.
But then do I want a tonic all day? A tonic.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It was like the hour of them getting drunk where the rosé was flowing, and you know, on holiday, cold glass of rosé.
Yeah, the sun's out.
Sun's out.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good feeling. Like, my problem is I love alcohol so much.
You just love
That's
it. And not
fine.
even because of the feeling it makes you feel when you're drunk, just the actual taste of alcohol, like a cold rosé in the sun.
It's stunning.
Were you
Don't get me wrong.
tempted? Were you thinking, oh, I might just have one? Or were you like,
No,
no?
because I was so scarred from
Yeah.
naughty Rachel a week before. I can't believe I just said naughty Rachel. Drunk Rachel the week before. That I wasn't gonna break that holiday. And do you know what, that hour where they were getting drunk, I was like, okay, this is quite difficult. As soon as they were drunk, I was loving it.
Yeah.
I was there.
I think you got past it.
Yeah, I was then, and to be honest, when people are drunk, they either just want to dance or they want to have a deep chat.
Yeah. That is so true.
I like dancing and I like deep chats.
Yeah, so it was perfect. You don't really need the alcohol at all.
Yeah, I didn't need it. And like I've got quite high energy as a person. So I was fine with the end. To be honest, I think we were all passed out by like 10 p.m. anyway. It was quite stunning, actually.
That's good. I think it's probably a lot easier because, like you said, you do have high energy as a person.
Yeah.
I think probably sometimes people find it hard to become sober when they need alcohol to give them confidence.
100%. I definitely think the confidence is big. Like for me, I was really worried about dating because so much of dating revolves around going for a drink.
That's so true. You never really plan a date and do something wholesome. It's very rare.
Not like, oh, let's
go to the park and read some books.
And as well, I was so worried that men would just be like, oh, she doesn't drink, she's really boring, like why, and not give me a chance. And then I suddenly thought, well, all right, if that's what they think, well, they're probably not for me.
They're not the right person. That's so true. Rejection is redirection. If you're getting rejected by the wrong person, that is perfect. You're redirected to the right person.
Exactly. So, and to be fair, it was because I went on one date sober, and I'm sure he was a lovely guy.
So have you just been on one date since?
I've been on a couple sober. But there was one before I'd gone completely teetotal that I'd done sober, and basically he'd taken me to this place where they only serve thirds of drinks.
What?
Yeah, so you only get a third. So whatever you order, it's a third. So I got a third of a tonic. You know how big a Fever Tree bottle is? And I was like,
you're lying.
No.
So you basically got a shot of tonic?
Yeah.
What?
I was like, no. Like, what am I meant to do with that? Like, that's one
Sorry,
mouthful.
who planned this date? Did he plan this
He
date?
planned it. And like, and also watching him drink like a third of a pint. Like,
sorry, that is eccentric.
That sounds awful, but I was like, oh, come on, just get a pint. Like,
wait, what is this whole concept to a third of a drink? That's the weirdest thing.
He said, like, he was like, oh, it's a place where they want you to like build relationships,
right? Okay.
And talk
and
rather than drink. I was like, well, just don't go to a pub. Like, it's a pub.
Just no, that's so true.
But
did he take you there because you told him that you were?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So maybe he was being a bit thoughtful that he didn't want to take.
Yeah.
You to
Don't get me wrong. He was very sweet. God bless.
Yeah.
And he was just. I sat there and he was talking to me about Excel sheets. And I had this third for tonic, and I thought, oh my Christ, is this it? Is
this life without drinking?
This is it now. And then the next day, I went on a date with another guy. Oh God.
The next day, God, look at you go, sober Rach.
So I went on a date with this other guy, and he said, oh, do you want like a wine or a beer? And we'd gone to like a street food marketplace. And I said, oh no, I actually don't drink. And he was like, okay, well, what would you like then? And I was like, I'll just have a tonic. And he was like, okay, great, we'll get a pizza as well. Didn't even bat an eyelid.
Wow, that's so good.
And I had the nicest time, and he still had like
a good time.
Oh, well, I think so.
You hope so. Did you hear from him again?
That was it, he ghosted me. But I was then like, okay, do you know what, this is fine. And from then I then took the attitude of, do you know what, actually, if I go on a date with a guy and he has an issue that I'm not drinking, it's not my problem.
That's so true.
That's their problem, not my problem.
So that's good you got the confidence from that date where he didn't make you feel weird for not drinking. So I think that's a big part of this is it's hard to be around people when they suggest that you're being boring or you're not having fun, or people are like, oh, you're so young, why aren't you drinking?
Yeah,
I guess that must be hard. And like you said earlier, it's good that you've got such supportive girls around you when you're on your holiday.
Yeah.
And that guy you went on a date with that made you feel good for not drinking, that must have boosted your confidence a lot by actually embracing sobriety and starting the journey.
It did. And I definitely think without I would find it way harder if my friends weren't supportive. If they turned around and they were like, oh, it's so boring and all of that, I would find it a lot more difficult. But now I do have the confidence that if someone's like, oh, you're boring, fine. Do you know what? If me not having anxiety is boring, I'll take it.
Literally.
Take it.
So how long have you actually been sober for now, teetotal?
Over 4 months.
Wow.
So it's not super long.
No, but starting that in summer as well, that is a lot of pressure compared to maybe starting in the beginning of January, you know, when people do dry Jan and then carry on from there. I feel like if you've started that, what's that? Like,
it was like April. It was a random day in April. So yeah, I did girls' holiday, birthday, done my whole summer holidays.
That's amazing. Wow.
All of that. So I know like a lot of people see it as like 4 months. In the great scheme of things, it isn't that long. But I think when you're in your 20s and pretty much most of your social life revolves around drinking, it can feel a really
that is
long
a long
time.
That is a long time, especially in summer as well. And do you find in your 4 months you faced any challenges that have been quite challenging? You're like, I don't know if I can do this.
Don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of times where I've missed drinking. I've thought, oh, come on, just have a sip, and I wasn't an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I wasn't by any means that. But it was just, I'll be like, oh, what's the harm? Like, why don't you just have one?
Yeah.
And then I remind myself, Rachel, my darling, you cannot have one.
Yeah, that's so true.
You'll have 10.
1 or 10.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
It is. And I say to myself, oh, don't be ridiculous. You can't, no. And do you know what? I'm so much happy for it. And there's so many more positives that I remind myself of that.
Yeah.
And I do see that you see the classic, like, nothing worth having comes easy. That I know it's going to be hard. I'll just get the inspiration.
Go on, get out, girl. That's so true. You're inspiring me.
And I just think I prefer myself sober. And I still have fun sober. And if someone doesn't want to hang out with me because I'm sober, well, then they don't like me because that's who I am. That is like
so true.
Who you are sober is who you are.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, you're boring, then you're like, okay,
bye.
Fine.
Yeah, that's so true. I've never actually thought about it like that because the dates you go on with a lot of people, you have about an hour where you're awkward, you're sober, you start drinking, you get absolutely pissed.
Yeah.
You wake up the next morning, you're like, oh my God, I had the most fun night. Like, you were so great.
God.
Next time you see them, you get drunk again. So it's actually quite rare when you start dating someone, you actually do see them sober for a while.
Yeah.
So it actually must be good dating people when you are fully sober. So you know if 100%. They like you for you.
Yeah.
And if they don't.
And I know how I feel about them. Like,
yeah.
I honestly, it's all my dating stories. I went on a date with this one bloke who essentially said I was overweight, I was weird, and I was dressed like his old headmistress. And still I thought, not the worst date I've been on. And I was like,
sorry, who comes out with, 1, you're overweight? Absolutely not.
Honestly.
2, you look like the headmistress.
Honestly, it was the way I still sat there and thought, he's not bad, you know. No, he's the worst.
Oh my God, who is he?
The worst.
Do you feel like your relationships with your friends and family have changed since becoming sober? Because like your story you said about earlier, your brother and mum and dad coming to find you after that emergency call, do you feel like you have a better relationship with them now?
I'd class myself as being like way more present. I know you hit, like when people talk about sobriety, they're like, it's so much more present.
Yeah.
And I'd listen and be like, get a tequila shot and you'll be present. But no, genuinely, do you know what it is? It's there's so many times when I've missed things or been like, I'm too hungover to go to that, and not spent time. Like my granddad's birthday is on New Year's Day, and I can't remember the last year that like I haven't showed up being aggressively hungover, not wanting to be there, not feeling good. And it's like, you know, my granddad's getting older. I don't know how many more birthdays he's going to have, and that's an important day, and I'm just want to be present. That. And I know it's New Year's Day, but it's even things like when my parents would, it seemed to always be when my parents would fly in to come home and see me, and that would be the night that I'd be like, let's go, let's play. And I'd get so drunk, and I'd be like, they're coming in at 7 a.m. Who do I think I am?
Yeah, to come and see you.
I'd roll myself out of bed, and I wouldn't be present, and I I wouldn't enjoy, like, we go out for food and I'd be like,
just get me home.
yeah, I don't want to be here, I just want to go to bed. So it's more like that
yeah, you become more present.
I'm there, I'm part of the conversation, I know what's going on, I'm switched on. Time is non-refundable as such. You can't get it back.
Yeah, you can't.
And the amount of time I wasted on lolloping in my bed, being hungover, exhausted, feeling rubbish, not doing anything, cancelling plans, cancelling all sorts.
Yeah.
And I get that back. I make the most of my weekends from the minute I shut that laptop on a Friday.
Yeah. And is there any sort of myths or misconceptions you want to address about sobriety? Because some people kind of take it as, like you said before, oh, that's so boring, you're going to have a really boring life, you're not going to have fun.
But boring is just the classic. If you choose to stop drinking, someone is going to call you boring. That's just how it is. And you've just got to have the confidence that you are you. You're not boring. Some people, everyone's going to class something as boring. It's so irrelevant. And I was out at karaoke a couple of weeks ago till 3 a.m. completely sober, just singing it out on a microphone. You don't have to stop doing all these things. You can if you want to. If it doesn't, like, I don't want to go clubbing anymore. I'm happy to go to like a bar dance vibe. Love that. Love me a boogie. Don't put me in Infernos.
Oh God, no.
No. That place should not be seen in daylight or sober. I'm not doing it.
That is not a bit of you.
I'm not doing it.
No. I've been there a few times and I'm like, no, I'm over that.
No.
I'm just so over that. And it's like you spend so much money on alcohol as well. Like that must be, you must have saved a lot since.
Yeah, saved so much. And that's how I see, so many people see quitting drinking or going sober as losing something. You're taking it away. It's not. The amount you gain, you save money, you have all this time, you feel good in yourself, you value things more, you're more your authentic self. There's all these positives.
Yeah.
But some people be like, oh, but you're giving up alcohol.
Yeah, and they're focusing on the negative side of it.
But what are you
gaining more than you're giving up.
100%.
That's so true. I've never thought of it like that. That is actually such a great point. And do you have sort of any advice if someone's listening now and they're kind of on the cusp of, do I do it? Should I just go partial or should I do it all?
I'd just say if you're thinking about it, just do it. Ultimately, absolutely no one wakes up the day after a night out and goes, do you know what? I wish I drank more last night. No one does that.
True.
No one does that.
That is so true. I've never ever woken up and thought that.
And also, what do you have to lose? Sit there and go, if you're like, oh, I'm not sure, what do you have to lose? So you have less of a hangover, so you save some money, so you make the most of your weekend, you have more like, what's the harm in giving that a go? And do you know what, if you sit and think, if you do it and think, do you know what, it's not for me, then it's not for you.
Yeah, you may as well give it a try.
That's fine, but why not give it a go?
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that. You do gain more than you lose. And I guess a lot of people think they're not going to have fun when they go out.
Yeah.
But like you said, even relating to dates, the first one you thought, wow, is this really going to be my life? I think over time, the more you go to venues and events when you are sober, the more you sort of learn over time and you learn how to have a good time. Yeah, exactly. You become more confident.
And you will get more confident at things like that. And actually you set more boundaries for yourself. So you end up doing what you want to do. And now when I go on nights out, when I'm done, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And to be honest, whoever's still there probably won't remember that I was there anyway. So
they won't be judging you for being boring,
like,
as they say.
Good night, my love.
Yeah.
Stay safe, make good choices.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And you can probably drive to places as well. Like you don't have to pay for taxis.
No, don't have to pay for taxis. Designated driver. I mean, I sold my car, so I don't have to do that. I live in London, but
So you just lied.
But yeah, that's just not true. But if I was sober, I would be the
designated driver. Yeah.
But yeah, like genuinely, the positives outweigh it so much. And what I would say, there's that. I found that there was that initial bit where I was like, "This is amazing. This is. I feel incredible. I honestly felt a bit like Jesus."
You're floating around.
Honestly, I was like, "Look at me. I am sensational."
Sensational.
Quite literally. I was like, hangover free. I'm getting up. Oh, I'm jogging.
Oh, look at you go.
Like, honestly, 10 out of 10 slay. That's how I saw myself.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where you realise things that you struggled with before that you then turned to drinking to cope with, you kind of had to deal with. That was difficult because there was times when I injured my knee. So I couldn't run, and running is a big thing for my mental health, and I couldn't drink. And I was in a full spiral. And
you just felt the pain longer than you normally would.
And I was like, I can't run and I can't drink. And that's what I'd normally turn to. After my breakup, I think I was drunk for about 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, looking back on that time, I genuinely have never felt happier, which is weird because I was drunk for it all.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I literally thought, I'm so okay. Like, look at me thriving.
Wow.
I'm a strong, independent woman, just doing my thing. And I would like walk down the street smiling. And then once I then was like, that bubble popped and I stopped drinking, I had to deal with the emotion.
Yeah.
You always have to deal with the emotion.
I think that is actually a massive thing. I feel like when you go through a breakup, you turn to, oh my God, I'm going to go out, have fun with the girls, be single, go get drunk every time. You feel like you are literally living in that bubble.
Yeah.
But like you said, that bubble pops.
It popped big time. And because I just put it off for so long, I thought I was so fine. And I was actually like, whatever. I was honestly, I'd get up and me and my housemate would be like, oh, should we just crack a beer? Shall we? We're at uni, we didn't really respond, but I studied English literature. What was I doing? I had like one lecture a week. Like,
you were drunk the rest of the days.
Yeah, honestly, what else? On my birthday, we did a lock-in, and I was there wearing my Oodie in some stripper heels. Playing with the guns of the landlord. They're just like off my rocker, just whoa, until like 6 a.m. stumbling home. And I was so not present, no, and I genuinely thought I was happy, but I wasn't dealing with any of the things that I needed to deal with, and I just put that off.
And I feel like that was a temporary happiness, whereas now you probably must feel such a more deep-rooted happiness in you.
Yeah, there's a whole thing. Happiness and pleasure are two separate things, and the more you chase pleasure, the less happy you'll be.
Wow.
So pleasure comes from alcohol, drugs, those quick hits. Happiness is exercising to get those endorphins flowing. It's having routine, it's having structure, it's those day-to-day things. So, and to some people that will be boring. That will be, but ultimately long term you will be happier, and you will deal with these issues that you've just put off.
That is such a great way to look at it, because I feel like I've never actually thought of it like that. But it is pleasure is such a short-term, temporary fix.
And this is one of my alcohol facts.
Go on.
The hit of chemicals that are released when you have that first sip of alcohol, you will never match that of after any other sip you have the rest of the night. But for the rest of the night, you will chase that hit. From that first sip, you will chase that hit. So you have that sip and your brain releases some chemicals. Don't tell me which ones. I did English literature, not science. And then your body's like, oh yeah, let's take that hit, which is why you want to keep drinking.
And that's why people must be so addicted to things like drugs, nicotine, because it's like you're constantly searching for that next hit.
Yeah. And for the rest of that night, you won't ever reach that again.
Wow, what a fact that is.
So maybe I should just have one sip.
Just one sip and give it to someone else.
Done.
And chuck it. Yeah.
Done.
You need to go back to that third of a drink bar.
And once he took me there, he knows. He's read the same book I did.
That is so funny. Oh, that is so funny. So to come to the end of this episode, have you got a simple task you want to give someone listening now to do this week?
I just say I'm going to relate it to drinking. And I just say, if you're considering going sober or you're potentially a bit curious, one night, just do one night out and not have a drink and just see how you feel, see what the weekend's like, or do a weekend without drinking and just go from there.
Yeah, because you never know unless you try.
It's taking it day by day. A lot of people ask me, oh, do you think you'll go back to drinking? And I don't know. I take it day by day. Like right now, I'm happier and I prefer myself like this. So I don't know.
That's so true. You don't know future self, but right now, you don't need to focus on that future self. You need to focus on how you're feeling right now. And like you said, you're happy. So there's no point trying to stress yourself. Oh my God, am I going to be doing this forever? Am I not? Just be happy in yourself right now. Because that is all you've got.
And all the things I do now, I do with intention. I know why I'm doing it, and I've made that decision, even if I think that was bloody stupid. No, conscious me, sober me made that decision.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
And that is what I value, and that is what I take into each day.
And you know you're being true to yourself.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so good. That is so good. And have you got a little special song to not request?
Request.
Well, do you want me to start singing it for you?
party.
Have you got a song to give our lovely listeners to listen to after this?
Do you know what? The song that never fails to get my dancing hips going is Fantasy by Mariah Carey.
You are lying. The guy before this episode,
Stop it.
That was his song.
Stop.
Jaren, she will be your best friend. I love that.
Oh my God, no, I didn't even know that.
I love that. Yeah, well, this one hasn't been released yet. That's brilliant, though. Wow. So everyone, listen to Fantasy again. Oh, when you walk by every night.
I'm not even going to sing. I'm not going to try.
Wow. What is the chances of that?
That is actually
amazing.
crazy.
Well, that is a great song, and it makes you feel
Still
good.
single. No, I'm joking.
Oh, wow. Honestly, that was such a great episode. Thank you so much for sharing all of your advice.
Thank you for having
and
me.
You should be proud of yourself for staying so strong. Doing as much as you say you've only done 4 months, that's a lot more than nothing, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly.
you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank
You're going to inspire a lot of people listening to this if they're on that cusp of wanting to do it, if they're just curious about it, about how people do feel when they go through it. So
just do it.
yeah. And
Do
also
it.
you've got your own page, don't you, if anyone wants to
Follow
follow
my
it.
own page. Can't now remember the name.
Is it Rachel James Fit or
Yeah, it's
underscore
like
fit?
something like _ Rachel James Fit
Yeah.
_
I mean, I'll tag you in the post anyway, so
Yeah.
people will find it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on our
Thank
episode.
you.
Our episode? Coming on my episode. Right. See you later, everyone. Bye.